Hello, welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews, and this is my mid-season review for The Mandalorian Season 3. More like my thoughts on the season thus far, and then I'll do a more extensive review at the end of the season. A spoiler warning does apply, of course, if you have not seen up through the end of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 4. So I'm looking at the first 4 episodes, the first half of the season, just kind of giving my thoughts on it so far. So, as I've said previously on this channel, I have never been a huge fan of the first 2 seasons. I think they were okay. I think they had their high points. And I think a lot of ripping off of the Seventh Samurai plot, which they did at least 3 or 4 times. And I think that the episodic nature of the show in the first 2 seasons did not work well for it. And so I largely think that the first 2 seasons are vastly overrated. Although I don't think they're horrible or anything. I think they're fine. They're decent. Though I did really love what they did in The Mandalorian Season 2.5, which is what we call the couple episodes slapped in the middle of the Book of Boba Fett Season 1 that were pertaining to The Mandalorian. So I did really enjoy that, and I have always enjoyed the story of the Mandalorian people and the planet Mandalore and what has become of them. I did a video a year ago or so that you can look up where I did the Story of Mandalore episode order hack. So I listed out all of the episodes in all the previous Star Wars shows, including Clone Wars Rebels, Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, that pertain to the lore of the Darksaber, to the lore of the Mandalorian people and that sort of thing. And I might go and rewatch those again, actually. So those will be the episodes that you should watch leading up to Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now, as for Season 3 of The Mandalorian, I did have high expectations. And those expectations halfway through have neither been realized nor totally, thrown out the window. It's still kind of, okay, where are they going? What are they going to do with this? So far, I'm intrigued. I'm into it. I am really intrigued by the fact that Bo-Katan saw the Mythosaur, which, by the way, I completely forgot all about the Mythosaur. It's not something that I think about. But in case you don't know, the Mythosaur is said to be extinct. It's like a religious icon, especially for the children there. That's why in this latest episode, Bo-Katan was like, well, what would you say if I told you I saw one? And the armorer was like, oh, that's great, you saw her in the vision. I'm like, no, I saw it in real life. And all she said was like, this is the way. Which means like, whatever, dude. Whatever floats your boat. So that stuff intrigues me. I do like the story of Grogu. He's not just a way to sell merchandise, although he is that. I actually think he's kind of an interesting character. He also provides great comic relief when he's always trying to eat things that he shouldn't eat and things like that. And when, I think it was the first episode when he was spinning around in the chair, like, at Grief Karga's office, I think it was. So he provides comic relief, but also he's a good character with a good story because he had to make that choice between being a Mandalorian or a Jedi. It was a choice that he made in the Book of Boba Fett. And he chose the little teeny tiny armor, which looks like mithril. Saw another video, they called it mithril, and I'm like, I know it's mithril, but anyway, they got another piece to the armor this week. I think by the end of the season, we're going to see it's going to be the cutest thing. It's going to sell lots of merchandise, but it'll also be cool when he gets his Mandalorian helmet with the ears. I kind of can't wait to see it. I think we're getting it by the end of the season. There's also a rumor floating out there that Grogu might talk by the end of the season. So we'll see about that. I'm assuming he's not going to talk backwards like Yoda because Yaddle didn't. So I guess that's just a thing that Yoda does. But anyways, so I am interested in that. And I am interested to see how Din Djarin is going to fit into all this, because the focus really does seem to be shifting a little bit to Bo-Katan. She saw the mythosaur. Din Djarin still holds the Darksaber, so there's that. That kind of has not been mentioned a whole lot, but that's still there. That's still a thing. Now, the downsides of this season. In episode 1, I wasn't a huge fan of those stupid pirate characters, and I hear they're going to be the main villains in Skeleton Crew. I already had Skeleton Crew listed as one of the shows I'm least excited for in 2023. Looks like we won't get it in 2023, so it's actually one of the shows I'm least excited for in 2024, apparently. But I am now even less excited for it than I was before if those stupid pirates are going to be the main villains. Like, very cartoonish and not villains I was interested in. So I was glad they were only on one episode. I hope they don't come back in this season and save them for that stupid Skeleton Crew show that I don't even know if I really want to watch, to be honest with you. But fortunately, they're gone. And then there's episode 3, and I did discuss this on my live chat that I did last week, where episode 3 leaves that interesting Mandalorian story that I am invested in and want to know what happens. They leave that for 38 minutes, which is longer than entire episodes. It's longer than episode 4 entirely. 38 minutes following this character I do not give a flying fuck about, and watching him turn in TPS reports, and they're trying to be like Andor. It turns into Andor, and I think that kind of thing to an extent did work for Andor. I thought Andor was highly overrated, and I thought that the 12 episodes should have been 6 episodes, and they spend too much time with the tedious stuff. This is what Star Wars is now, is people turning in TPS reports and working at tedious offices. Is that what Star Wars wants to be now? It was torture. I did not enjoy it at all. I do not give a fuck about this character. I do not give a fuck about that other character that he met. I don't even care what her name is. And it bothers me that we're probably going to have to see them again. I mean, we have to, really, because you can't just have 38 minutes of an episode and then never show them again in the entire season. We do need to see them again, but hopefully it will just be for little, couple minute spurts here and there, and not ruining an entire episode with that crap. I'm sorry, but I do not like it even a little bit. I know it seems like the fandom was really split on it. I definitely saw some YouTube videos who were praising it and saying it's the greatest thing ever, and oh, look at how great was this great thing that they did, and all of that. God, no. Andor was bad enough. You don't need to stick that in the middle of my awesome Mandalorian episode. So that's how I feel about that. So before I go, I do want to talk about the big reveal in episode 4. We finally got who saved Grogu. There were all these theories that it was Mace Windu, which I never believed for a million gazillion years that it was going to be Mace Windu. If they do reveal that he's still alive, I don't think that's how they would do it. Or not that he's still alive in this time period, but that he lived beyond being thrown out the window. I mean, because people who fall great distances in Star Wars always live. It's been shown again and again in Star Wars that falling from a great height is the surest way to ensure your survival. So they could still say he survived that, but I didn't think they were gonna do it here. And then there was I forget the name of the Jedi that Obi-Wan mentioned, who was running the underground network in that show. There was people who thought it was gonna be him. There was the librarian old lady. I can never remember these characters' names. Jocasta something something. She was out there, but nobody called this guy. And when I saw it, I was like, who's that? I don't know. It's some random dude, which is fine. I didn't really care because I didn't have any investment in it being Mace Windu or any big thing. So it could literally be some random dude, and I do not give a shit. Like, I was not invested in it being some big character or whatever. So my first thought was, oh, people on the internet are going to complain about this because it's a random dude. But it turns out it's not a random dude. It's Kelleran Beck, who is a character from, I guess, some kind of children's game show called the Jedi Challenge or something. I knew nothing about this. I've never heard of this. I don't know what it is. But he wasn't necessarily canon before this. He was just this character in this Jedi Challenge game show. But now they are saying that he is actually canon and that he does apparently work with foundlings and train the young kids. And most importantly, let's not bury the lead here. He is played by Ahmed Best, who voices Jar Jar Binks. And I've heard a lot of people express that they just feel really good for this guy because it's kind of redemption for him, because he got a lot of shit for voicing Jar Jar, a lot of harassment, and just a lot of harassment, people being really cruel to him that caused mental health issues for him. It really fucked up his life, which I felt really bad for that guy because, like, I don't like Jar Jar. I think Jar Jar is the worst character in Star Wars, but I would never harass the guy who did the voice. Like, it's not his fault. Like, he was just doing his job, and by all accounts, he's a pretty good actor. So leave the poor guy alone. So I'm there. I'm there with everyone who is like going, yeah, that's a good story. That's a good feel-good story. That this guy gets his redemption and gets to be the hero that saves Grogu. Everybody was wondering who it was. It was Jar Jar. Kind of. Not really Jar Jar. But I think that's a good story. I like that. So I'm hearing a lot of positivity, or at least on the YouTube channels that I watch. I'm sure there's people complaining somewhere. But for that reason, that Ahmed Best gets kind of redemption. So that's good. I was expecting there was going to be a lot of negativity because I thought it was some random dude. But so I'm glad people are happy with it. Personally, I didn't care one way or the other who was going to save Grogu, but I'm glad that Ahmed Best gets a little bit of redemption here. So that's all I want to say about that. I will not give a rating for halfway through the season. I will just give a rating out of 10 once we get to the end of the season. I don't even know what my rating would be because I've really enjoyed it. And then there's that stupid episode 3. All right. Okay. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out all my other Star Wars and Star Trek content. And I will see you all really soon. Goodbye.